Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 50k and let's get into it. So yes, yesterday one of the community managers, one of the main ones, this man on the English forums, actually said some things interesting about the Tornado ADV, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that and just talk about the performance of the Tornado in a general sense, right? So yeah, the Tornado ADV was the new addition obviously for the UK, and it has some problems. It is a very limited aircraft in some areas. And then he posted this: the following reported issues have now either been fixed or resolved since release. So these things were resolved until now. So missing the pilot night vision, it's already added. Incorrect top speeds, it's fixed. BOL pods and stocking 9Ls cannot be equipped together. Display in front cockpit should have an option to display radar. Pretty cool. Wing rip G is too low. It was very easy to rip the wings. Now it's a little bit harder. Still, you have to be careful if you're using the manual wings, but still. Engines are far too hot and wrong type of Skyflash. So these are already fixed. But there are some things that are, you know, pending deployment. For the Skyflash, they say that the track rate, the lock range, and the target lead gimbal limits will be apparently improved, have all been resolved, and it will be addressed. So these things are probably just in a phase of getting the code done and testing and stuff to be added, like, I don't know, next week or something, or in a short period, I would think. But yeah, the track rate, the lock range would really help the Skyflash, even though right now, I mean, there isn't any more a point of firing the missile from like 40 kilometers, even more than that. But if you can get a lock range from further than that, I mean, it might be helpful, right? The track rate, I mean, also helps turning and other things that would help the missile just perform better against basically a turning target or a notching target or anything like that, right? And the target lead gimbal limits, I guess it's just an improvement in the autopilots together with the limits that the missile can turn, something along those lines. So yeah, an improvement for the Skyflash. They only say it's Skyflash, so we cannot know for sure if it's the SUPERTEMP, but I would imagine that it is, right? I mean, it's the main missile of that aircraft, so why not? And the following also received answers from the depths. So radar maximum detection range too short. So 125 kilometer is for fighter sized 5 meters squared target. For greater target, it is greater. So this might be, you know, it's, I don't know what they mean. If they are saying that that's the thing, right? I think they're meaning that the 125 kilometer is what you see on the hangar. If you go to X-ray and take a look on that radar on the Type W, the Fox Hunter, it will say that the range is 125. And if, for example, you want to have a good example, is the MiG-29, for example, you have a 65 kilometer range on the X-ray, but you can detect targets that are bigger from further away than that. For example, the F-14 you can detect to up to like 90 something kilometers sometimes, depending on the situation. So the range that they are saying there normally means the range that it is a specific target. In this case, they are saying that the RCS is 5 meters squared, which I think it's a very big one actually. 125 kilometers for a fighter-sized target of 5 meters per squared. I mean, that's really big actually, because normally these missiles are, you know, these RCSs, they're at least with the Soviet sources and stuff, they normally are treated with 3 meters per second squared. So 5 meters squared is a very large target. Even it would be like a larger than an F-16 and smaller than an F-14, I would think, right? So yeah, it's a very large target, I think. So 125 just means that it is trying to, basically the maximum detection for a target that size. Same goes for 65 kilometers for the MiG-29, but if the target is bigger than that, you will see them from further away, right? That's even the ability that, for example, a stealth aircraft would have. So this is just some explanation, I think, on that. But the Skyflash itself, I think it's a good addition that they are actually going to improve it a little bit. It is a problematic missile. It has less energy than the other ones. It really does. Like, if you compare it to something like, I don't know, a very good example would be to compare it to the AIM-7F and M, right? And they have basically 1/3 or 1/4 of less energy, or even, no, it's like, it would be 1/4. It's like 200 meters per second of delta V less. So it has way less energy, right? But it has more energy than something like the R-27R, which is a missile that can it can be very good, especially something along the lines of trying to fire from a target at 30 kilometers, something like that. So the energy is there. It's just that I think there are some limits and track rates that need to be improved, and obviously with the new drag system, the range will be decreased nonetheless, right? So it is kind of a problematic missile, but all missiles are a bit problematic, to be honest. I always will say about that example of the Gulf War. Always remember this example. The AIM-7M had a 37% hit rate on the Gulf War in the 90s. An AIM-7M, man, it's one of the most advanced AIM-7s that they have, you know. Of course, we can have the P and other variants, but still, I mean, 37% for a 90s like operation, it's pretty bad if you don't know the history of missiles and stuff, right? But then you consider that in the Vietnam War it was less than 10% with the AIM-7Es, right? So yeah, the improvement was there, but still, missiles miss a lot in real life, right? And in the game, this will be shown as a problem as well, just like the majority of things that we need to face in the game are normally based off of real life problems. This is basically the same thing, right? So just to kind of make yourself, to try to make yourself comfortable a little bit, because yes, the Skyflash SUPERTEMP is not the greatest missile ever, but there are worse missiles out there, and the SUPERTEMP is one of them. You know, it's really an okay missile. I think the major problem is always going to be the performance of the Tornado itself, and that's just a problem that we cannot solve. I mean, the Tornado is a problematic aircraft if you're facing 4th generation stuff. It will always be. It's an interceptor. It's not meant to be dogfighting too much, and it is a brick of an aircraft. And it's even funny to actually think about that. A lot of people, most of the people, always said that the Tornado would be problematic. It doesn't matter when it comes, it doesn't matter what it faces, it will always be problematic because it's a very specific aircraft in the way that it flies. Same will happen if they add interceptors for the Soviets, like the MiG-25 and 31 and whatever, the F-106 maybe, and same that we have with the F-104. They're a little bit more problematic. Doesn't mean that you cannot use them, but it means that you have a steep learning curve, and you have to, you know, have a little bit of patience. Together with having a little bit of patience, because they are fixing the missiles and the aircraft itself, and it takes a little bit of time to be like in the most realistic way possible, right? Just take a look on the MiG-29. The MiG-29, I mean, took like, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months to actually the radar be more usable, and you start to actually have a decent way to actually deal with targets. So yeah, pretty good, right? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about these changes. Do you think it's deserved or not? Do you think we need more changes? What is wrong with the F3? Is it just because it's a Tornado and there's not much else we can do? Or is it there is something that they did wrong? Let me know in the comments if you know. And I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys. See you.